You've been told the solution is simple. You're tired? Just rest. Take a break. Sleep more. Go on vacation. Step away for a while. And for a moment, it works. You sleep in, you unplug, you breathe again. But then something strange happens. You return to your life, and within days, sometimes hours, the exhaustion comes rushing back, heavier, deeper, more hopeless than before. And that's when the quiet fear creeps in. What's wrong with me? Why am I still tired? Why doesn't rest fix this? Here's the truth no one tells you. Burnout is not caused by lack of rest, and rest alone cannot cure it. That idea, the one we've all been sold, is a lie. A comforting lie, a simple lie, but a dangerous one. And today, we're going to expose it. Burnout doesn't feel like ordinary tiredness. Ordinary tiredness says, I need sleep. Burnout says, I don't want to wake up to this life again. Burnout isn't just physical exhaustion. It's emotional depletion, mental numbness, a slow erosion of meaning. You can sleep 8 hours and still feel empty. You can take a week off and still feel dread. You can rest your body while your soul remains exhausted. That's because burnout doesn't live in your muscles. It lives in your nervous system, your expectations, your environment, your identity. And resting without changing the conditions that caused the burnout is like charging a phone while leaving the apps draining the battery in the background. You never reach full power. We live in a culture that worships productivity. From a young age, we're taught that our value comes from output, from achievement, from being useful. Slow down and you feel guilty. Rest and you feel lazy. Do nothing and you feel behind. So when burnout hits, rest becomes another task, another thing to optimize, another box to check. You don't actually rest. You recover just enough to keep going. And that's where the lie tightens its grip. Because burnout isn't a sign you need more rest. It's a sign that something in your life is fundamentally misaligned. Think about this. If rest alone cured burnout, vacations would solve everything. But how many people come back from vacation already counting the days until the next break? How many people feel anxious on the last day off, their chest tightening at the thought of returning? That's not exhaustion, that's resistance. Your system is resisting a life that no longer fits. Burnout happens when effort is disconnected from meaning. When you give and give, but don't receive safety, autonomy, or fulfillment in return. When your days are full, but your life feels empty. Rest doesn't fix that, because rest doesn't restore meaning. One of the biggest contributors to burnout is lack of control, not workload alone, but powerlessness, feeling trapped, feeling replaceable, feeling like no matter how much you do, it's never enough. You can rest your body, but if you wake up to the same pressures, the same expectations, the same emotional weight, your nervous system never stands down. It stays alert, braced, guarded. Burnout is what happens when your system stays in survival mode for too long. And survival mode does not turn off just because you slept. Another lie we're told is that burnout is an individual failure. That if you're burned out, you just didn't manage your time well enough, didn't practice enough self-care, didn't balance properly. But burnout is not a personal weakness. It's a systemic response, a rational reaction to prolonged stress without recovery, recognition, or agency. And telling burned out people to just rest is like telling someone drowning to just relax. It misses the point. Let's talk about emotional burnout. This is the exhaustion that comes from constant emotional labor. Smiling when you're hurting, being patient when you're depleted, showing up for others while abandoning yourself. Caregivers, employees, parents, people pleasers, they don't burn out because they don't rest. They burn out because they never stop giving. And rest that doesn't change that dynamic only delays the collapse. Then there's mental burnout, decision fatigue, information overload, constant urgency. Your brain was not designed to process thousands of inputs a day. Notifications, emails, news cycles, expectations. Even during rest, the mind doesn't shut off. So you lie in bed, exhausted, scrolling, thinking, worrying. That's not rest. That's cognitive overload in disguise. Burnout also thrives in environments that lack psychological safety, where mistakes are punished, where vulnerability is dangerous, where rest is seen as weakness. In those environments, even time off doesn't feel safe. Your body relaxes, but your mind stays alert, waiting. That's why true recovery feels impossible. Here's something rarely discussed. Burnout is often an identity crisis. When who you are becomes fused with what you do. When your self-worth depends on performance, rest feels threatening. Because if you stop, who are you? So even when you rest, part of you is anxious. Part of you feels useless. Part of you feels afraid. That's not rest. That's internal conflict. So what actually heals burnout? Not escape, not avoidance, not endless breaks. Burnout heals when the root causes are addressed, when boundaries change, when expectations shift, when autonomy increases, when meaning is restored. It heals when your life becomes sustainable, not just survivable. True recovery involves redesign. Redesigning how you work, how you relate to time, how you define success, how you treat your energy. It means asking hard questions. Why am I exhausted? What am I constantly pushing against? Where am I overgiving? What am I tolerating that is draining me? These questions are uncomfortable, but they're necessary because burnout doesn't need more rest. It needs truth. And here's the most important part. Rest is still important, but rest is a supporting tool, not the cure. Rest helps you recover after change. It doesn't replace change. Without change, rest becomes a loop. Recover, return, collapse, repeat. Imagine instead a life where rest actually works, where sleep restores you, where breaks feel refreshing, not temporary, where energy returns naturally. That kind of rest only happens when your life stops fighting you, when your environment supports you, when your boundaries protect you, when your values guide you. That's not laziness, that's alignment. Burnout is not a message that you are broken. It's a message that something in your life needs to change. And the longer you ignore that message, the louder it gets, until rest no longer works at all. So if you're burned out right now, hear this clearly. You're not weak, you're not lazy, you're not failing. Your system is responding exactly as it should to prolonged imbalance. And that means there is hope. Because systems can be redesigned. The lie we're told about rest and burnout keeps people stuck, resting but never healing, pausing but never transforming. Once you see the lie, you gain power. Power to stop blaming yourself, power to stop chasing shallow fixes, power to rebuild a life that doesn't require constant recovery. Here's your turning point. Stop asking, how do I rest more? Start asking, what is draining me? Stop trying to recover from a life you don't want. Start creating one you don't need to escape from. Professional call to action. If this message resonated with you, don't ignore it. Take the next step. Audit your energy. Identify the real sources of burnout. Redesign your life for sustainability, not survival. If you're ready to go deeper, access the full Burnout Recovery Framework. Subscribe to Daily Upgrade Motivation channel to get a practical, step-by-step guide to reclaiming energy, clarity, and control without guilt or burnout cycles. Your energy is not infinite. Protect it, design for it, and build a life where rest finally works. Don't forget to like and share this video with those that needs it. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.